Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day. And today the Houston Texans have waived tackle Jaylon Thomas, who has been on the roster since the beginning of training camp. And now Jaylon Thomas has been waived. I think this move was going to happen sooner than later. But the Texans did, find an opportunity to get another offensive lineman and sign somebody today, picking up Cameron Erving, who is a very solid tackle who has experience winning a Super Bowl in 2019 with the Chiefs, being a starter in 2019 for most of the season in 2019 with the Chiefs. I believe he started like 12 games in 2009, or no, he started like 8 or 9 games in 2019. It was 2018 where he started a total of 13 games for the Chiefs. This past year, he didn't play that much, only playing 3 games and 2 starts with the Saints at guard. But I kind of like him because he can play all over the place. He's played center with Cleveland in 2016 in his second year, starting 13 games at center. He's played both tackle positions in the NFL with Carolina and Kansas City. He's played left guard with Kansas City. So he really can play all 5 offensive line positions. And I'll tell you guys who I think that's a threat to. I think that's a threat to a couple guys, probably Jarrett Patterson and Kendrick Green. I know that Charlie Heck got injured, and it's not looking too good for him. So I think that's another reason why you saw the Texans sign Cameron Erving. But still, I didn't think Charlie Heck was going to make this roster anyways. And if there were going to be 8 guys to make this roster on the offensive line, I didn't see him being one of them. I thought he was going to get cut anyways, but you can look at it, and the 8 guys I see making this roster at the offensive line before this signing, I saw Jarrett Patterson, Kendrick Green, Kenyon Green, Juice Scruggs, and your normal guys on the offensive line. Making this roster at the offensive line. I'm gonna go everybody I had making the roster on the offensive line. I had. Making the roster was Laramie Tunsil, Kenyon Green, Juice Scruggs, Shaq Mason, Titus Howard, Blake Fisher, Kendrick Green, and Jarrett Patterson. So those were the 8 guys, because I do, every week, twice before and after every preseason game, 53-man roster predictions. And after the game on Thursday, when the Texans lost 17-21 against the Chicago Bears, those were the 8 guys I had making the roster at the offensive line. But now after this Cameron Erving signing, I don't know if that changes things, because I know that he isn't the best offensive lineman, but I think I'd rather have Cameron Erving over Kendrick Green, who has a lot of struggles, gets a lot of penalties, fumbles. He had a fumble the other night for the Texans. So I honestly think I'd rather have Cameron Erving than Kendrick Green. I think Jarrett Patterson could be in danger. But like I said, I didn't see Charlie Heck making the roster anyways. He gets hurt. That looks like a not great injury for him. But if Cameron Erving potentially makes this roster, which I think he probably doesn't, but if he does, I think the 2 guys you're looking at potentially being in danger of getting cut are probably Jarrett Patterson and Kendrick Green. And I think with what we saw on Thursday night from Kendrick Green, I'd rather see him go than Jarrett Patterson, because I thought he showed some solid things as a rookie last year in 2023, especially with a lot of pressure. He was a guy who I don't think he really thought he'd be a starter, a part-time starter for the Texans last year, and he kind of was. But I want to get back to Jaylon Thomas now, because Jaylon Thomas is a guy who went undrafted in 2023, and look, he wasn't going to make this roster, but maybe potentially he could have had more of a chance, maybe could have gotten more of a chance to play in next week's preseason game on Friday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Texans ended up signing Cameron Erving. I think he probably would have stayed on the roster if this signing doesn't happen. Probably would have stayed on the roster until Friday's preseason game. But that obviously didn't happen. And now we'll see where he goes, because he played 1 game with the Giants in 2023. He was unsigned. He was a undrafted free agent that signed with the Ravens, but ended up on the Giants roster last year. Only played 1 game, and in that 1 game, he didn't start, and he played tackle for the Giants. And then we saw him sign with the Texans. I'm pretty sure he did play in Thursday night's preseason game against the Bears, but we'll see where he ends up. I mean, no one expected him to make the roster. Maybe he could have been a guy if he got more of a chance and played well, did some good things. Maybe he could have made the practice squad, but the Texans saw a veteran they liked and they picked him up. But now we'll see how that veteran does. I'm interested to see how Cameron Irving does. Now, can he beat out a Jarrett Patterson, who looked pretty solid in his rookie year, started 7 games and 7 starts and played all around the offensive line? Kendrick Green, who I personally don't really like, he isn't terrible, but he's not good, and there's a lot of bad things. And he's most likely going to be playing center this year if he makes the roster. He started 4 games and 3 starts, but he also plays guard as well. Look, I'd rather have Cam Irving playing. He's played center before. He's played guard. He's played at tackle. I know that he's played every position in the offensive line before. I don't know if he's played at right guard, but I know for sure he's played at left tackle. I know for sure he's played at right tackle as well. I know he's played at center, did that in 2016. And I know that he's played at left guard, did that in 2018 with the Chiefs. So he can play. I think he can play right guard as well. That was not on there. When I looked at all the years in his career, it never said right guard. There was one year, mainly this past season in 2023 with the Saints, where it says he played guard. So that makes me think he might have played both right guard and left guard most likely. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure in his career has played all 5 positions in the offensive line. So I think you could arguably say that he could make the roster over Kendrick Green, which I think a lot of Texans fans would probably like. Let me know your thoughts on the 2 roster moves for the Houston Texans, the Texans waiving Jaylon Thomas, and the Texans signing Cam Irving in the comment section. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Texans.